NATO members heighten alarm over Russia invasion fears, send more troops east. UK's Johnson calls crisis most dangerous moment for continent in decades, dispatches soldiers to Poland as icy talks with Moscow flounder. Biden urges Americans to leave Ukraine. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said Thursday the Ukraine crisis has grown into the most dangerous moment for Europe in decades, while his top diplomat held icy talks with her Moscow counterpart who said the Kremlin won't accept lectures from the West. Amid the deadlock, Russian forces held sweeping maneuvers north of Ukraine and Belarus, part of a buildup of over 100,000 troops that has stoked Western fears of an invasion. NATO also has stepped up military deployments to bolster its eastern flank, with the U.S. sending troops to Poland and Romania. A British Royal Air Force jet carrying 350 troops landed Thursday in Poland in a move that followed London sending anti-tank missiles to Ukraine to help boost its defenses. This is probably the most dangerous moment, I would say, in the course of the next few days in what is the biggest security crisis that Europe has faced for decades, and we've got to get it right, Johnson said at NATO headquarters in Brussels. Johnson, who later flew to Warsaw to meet with Poland's prime minister, said he believes President Vladimir Putin has not yet decided what he might do with Ukraine, adding that the West must use sanctions and military resolve plus diplomacy. Asked whether there were any scenarios that would prompt him to send U.S. troops to Ukraine to rescue Americans, the president said, "There's not. That's a world war when Americans and Russia start shooting at one another." Speaking in Moscow, Putin said Russia was continuing a series of talks with the U.S. and its allies and is working on a reply to Western security proposals. NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg said he sent a letter to Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov repeating an invitation to a series of talks on improving European security. Lavrov set a stern tone for his talks in Moscow with UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss, who again warned Russia that attacking its neighbor would have massive consequences and carry severe costs. Lavrov rejected Western worries about the Russian troop buildup as sheer propaganda and noted that Moscow won't stand for lectures. Ideological approaches, ultimatums and moralizing is a road to nowhere, he said, noting that his talks with Truss marked the first meeting of the country's top diplomats in more than 4 years as Russia-UK ties have been ravaged by the 2018 poisoning of former Russian spy Sergei Skripal in England, along with other tensions. Russia says it has no plans to invade Ukraine but wants the West to keep Ukraine and other former Soviet countries out of NATO. It also wants NATO to refrain from deploying weapons there and roll back alliance forces from Eastern Europe. The US and NATO flatly reject these demands.